We are going to bring you full coverage, courtesy of GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk. Oh, it's been 37 minutes of anger-seething rage so far. Hopefully we can get the race to settle down and have some decent wheel-to-wheel action. And of course, who's going to be the real winners and the real losers at the start with this reverse grid? Well, not reverse grid, random grid. Because are we going to see someone like XRL Bernie out on the front row? Are we going to see the likes of... we're going to see the likes of Stewart, who's done really well, and it's a 43% chance of rain. Back to what the first session was. Well, that's consistency for you. We've got the rain consistent, but nothing else. And I'm starting from P2. That's not where I want to be. I've got to pull right off to the right. That's really difficult. Rusty Nuts on provisional pole position. Boston Panda third. XRL Bernie fourth. XRL Fozzie fifth. Living Dead 69 in sixth place. Whitus, you're down in seventh. You've got to move. Jamie 2503 all the way in eighth. Stuart down in ninth. Nero Toasty in 10th. So he's kind of started where we would have expected to. Evil Stop Boy 11th. And there's Psychic Taco all the way at the back of the grid on 12th. So needless to say, very, very difficult, very tricky here. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can come through the back. There is 66 laps though, so it's a long race ahead here. A lot of time. And of course, the only way we're going to know is by getting out onto the track. So, whether they're ready or not, we're going. And meanwhile, XRL Bobbers on the screen says this has happened several times in F4000 this season. And LGS quick with death patterns with not as bad as this, surely. Needless to say, I'm not very impressed. But let's try and get ourselves out to the track so we can obviously cover the race here. 66 laps of the Circuit de Catalunya on the outskirts of Barcelona, Spain, with me, Pete Markroft, and also Chris Moss in the box. So after a half-hour delay, we are here at the Circuit de Catalunya for round 5 of the Excite Racing League GP2 division. Hopefully the guys can hold it together and get themselves across the line for 66 laps. Myself and Chris Moss will be peeling right and left to get out of everybody's way and hopefully ensure we get a good race here. And once those 5 lights out, we will be racing at the Circuit de Catalunya. And it's lights out, and away we go! So heading out to first place, Rusty Nuts gets an excellent start. He's being chased very, very quickly while Lotus is there. Looking up the inside, it's going to be very tight. Oh, free and pressing to turn 1 there. As Lotus drives on the brakes, XRL Bernie has to get out of it. Almost goes over the AstroTurf. And as a result of that, we've got the Sister McLaren going through into P3 on the outskirts of Living Dead 69. And one of the Ferraris now is attacking XRL Bernie into turn 4. The Ferrari's got the tiger line. And also one of the Mercedes looking up the inside of the Toro Rosso there. But it's just been able to hold his position for now. XRL Fozzie in 4th place, and then we've got XRL Bernie in 5th, where he's down on the inside of turn 5. Can he make his move stick? Is he going to be able to down up him? No, just keep holding on the inside. XRL Fozzie loses traction, and he's going to be done by the Mercedes going into turn 6. Disaster for XRL Fozzie. He's also got the Sister McLaren, and absolutely poor start here for XRL Fozzie, down to 7th place now, as both Stewart and also the Jamie 2503 going through. Big bunch of cars on the inside, and Nero Toasty gets turned around there. I think that might have been XRL Fozzie who got caught up with him, heading into turn 9. And now Nero Toasty has managed to get his own back facing the right way, and he's just ahead of the second McLaren, that's Stuart in the McLaren. So he's managed to retake the position. Meanwhile, we've got a big 5-car train, and already someone's going into the pits. Who is that? I think that might be Udall Snowball in the Williams there diving in. No, it's Rusty Nuts who's dived in from the lead, and we've already lost connection to Chris, and he's left my party as well. Not what I need. Nero Toasty looking up the inside here at the back of these Mercedes of Jamie 2503. And XRL Bernie dives around the outside into turn 3 of the Lotus. Nero Toasty squeezed into turn 3, nearly pushes the Mercedes of Jamie 2503 off the track, but gets away with it. Meanwhile, an awesome Panda in the Lotus staring at a second place of XRL Bernie, and in the lead now, I believe that's XRL Stewart in the McLaren. Because Living Dead 69 is in the lead at the moment, and XRL Bernie under big pressure here from the Awesome Panda, and I'm going to have to quickly cut away from the action while I try and get my co-commentator back in the box. Awesome Panda looking up the back of the XR Bernie, makes a mistake at turn 9, and meanwhile Nero Toasty's now caught to the back of these. All of a sudden we're really close here, very close to the inside, and Nero Toasty looking, getting poor drive though at the top of turn 13 into 14, got into the gravel there that nearly threw him off the track, but he's just about held it together. And meanwhile the Lotus of the Awesome Panda has got a run on XRL Bernie, but behind them there's a big battle of cars here. In P5 with XRL Stewart and the Sister McLaren ahead of GP2 in the Mercedes. Then we have Tom Chambers, the newcomer in the Ferrari, all the way to P7, and it starts 13th and a Psychic Taco in 8th place from 12th, doing a great job here, trying to get past, an awful time over the inside there. Taco can't afford to take that position or that will be a penalty, and he realises that and lets him through. So Tom Chambers, meanwhile, looking at the back of the Targo's teammate, GP2 going into turn 4. He's just not got the traction to pull away here. And now Nero Toasty appears to be all over the back of the Awesome Panda in the Lotus. Chris, can you hear me?
Hello.
On into turn 9. Hello there, Chris. Nero Toasty, he's going to have the DRS here. Heading out towards turn 9. He's activated the flat, but Awesome Panda in the Lotus has the same advantage. And Awesome Panda for a very late braking move on Bernie. Nero Toasty's seen him go wide and takes an easy 3rd place. And both of the Toro Rossos now lying astern is 2nd and 3rd. Probably better than any of their opportunities. But of course, that first lap collision between what look like Nero Toasty and XRL Fozzy is one that will be investigated after the race. As Tom Chambers 92 is still being pressured by Psychic Taco. Also, one of the Williams looking to dive over the Alps curves there to go past Psychic Taco, but doesn't get the traction. And that might have to be rusty. No, it's unstoppable. And he's got the DRS on the back of JB2503. Great opportunity here for Ian Ensemble to cause some big blood in terms of the order. On the brakes, he does roll down on the inside, going into turn 1, but poor drive for JB, side pod glitches the pair of them, both of them go off the track, disastrous move there, and you have to feel that was caused by the Mercedes of JB2503, went off the track and rejoined in a rather dangerous way. That will have to be looked at again. So Chris, where are you on track?
I'm on board with XRL 40 at the minute.
The Awesome Panda is fallen down the field actually now, because it looks like he's down in 5th place. He is indeed. He's been passed by XRL Stewart in the Silver McLaren. And then up ahead you've got both of the Toro Rosso, Nero Toasty in 3rd, and XRL Bernie in 2nd, who's all over the back of the Sister McLaren of Living Dead 69. These 3 cars are all literally right next to each other for the lead. And this could be really interesting, especially when the rain comes, because it is 43% chance of rain. Potentially it won't arrive at all, but more than likely we'll get some at some point. DRS available from Nero Toasty going down towards turn 1 on his teammate, and XRL Bernie's got the advantage himself on the Living Dead 69 and the McLaren. Nero Toasty pulls ahead, gets on the brakes, and that's beautifully done. And now he's going to be attacking the back of that McLaren on Living Dead 69. Correction from LTS on the screen thinks it may have actually been Psychic Taco who actually collided with the Williams earlier on. That will have to be reviewed. As Nero Toasty down to the inside. Mistake from Living Dead 69. And on the inside of turn 4, a place you don't normally see any overtaking, we see Nero Toasty go through into the lead. And now we've got a 3-car scrap all over again at the top of the order.
Yeah, good spot there by LGS. It was Psychic Taco, he's now running in P10.
Actually, Living Dead 69 is really getting a bit ragged now, because he's dropped a bit behind the Sister Toro Rosso of Nero Toasty. And now with DRS on XRL Bernie's chasing after that McLaren. Into turn 9, old Bernie's had to go straight on. He carried so much more speed into the corner, but just about bailed out of it, unlike Kimi Räikkönen and Kevin Magnussen at Monte Carlo. And now XRL Stewart's looking at the inside, turn 14, sensibly backs out of that, sees there's no way through there. Into the tight chicane of 15, 16, all drivers got to be careful that they stick to the racing track limits here. Of course, that's one of the things that is being policed at the moment by the XRL Stewart. Now going into the DRS zone, Stewart's got the DRS on the back of XRL Bernie, but meanwhile up ahead, Limit Dead 69 closing quickly on the back of Nero Toasty, that was turn 1, but he's just not close enough. Lost critical time in sector 2, and that was enough for Toasty to break the gap for now. But Limit Dead 69 is close, and if he can get a good clean run, he might be able to take another strike at that Toro Rosso. Limit Dead 69 heading down towards turn 5, trying to get a decent run on the back of Niratosti in the sister Toro Rosso. And meanwhile, behind them, XRL Bernie's catching quickly, and there's a long list of cars there, all the way down about as far as 6th or 7th, which aren't too far behind. So these guys are going to be careful, they don't back each other up, and then suddenly have a huge pack of cars swarming all over them, especially in the mad scramble before the rain arrives. XRL Bernie DRS wide open, decides not to try and take the one way round this time at 9, and that's got him a little bit of breathing space. We got a bit of a mistake behind there. Not sure who that was. I think that might have been the Awesome Panda going wide at turn 9, because Jamie2503 is now in 5th place and Tom Chambers 92 is in 6th. It was indeed the Awesome Panda. He went off at turn 9 and lost a lot of time as a result. But we got Jamie2503 staring at the back of Stewart in the McLaren, who's close quickly onto the back here of XRL Bernie. So DRS flat open, and we've got literally Toro Rosso McLaren, Toro Rosso McLaren. That's an unusual lineup. You wouldn't normally call that from racing, would you?
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
Into turn 1, XRL Bernie defence in the middle line. That gives them a pull line for a 2. It's compromised entry to 3. Stewart now is closing very, very quickly on the back of him in the McLaren, bearing down that Toro Rosso, kicking up a bit of dust there on the outside. Stewart takes a look at turn 4, realises he's just not going to get that move done there, so he decides to back out. But Bernie goes a little wide. Stewart gets a bit of tail slip as we head to 5. It is potentially possible to overtake here, but it's very, very difficult. Meanwhile, we've got a couple of cars scrapping at the back of the points there, going further back. In 6th place, got the Awesome Panda, being chased very quickly by Tom Chambers 92 in the Ferrari. So Awesome Panda making that move and getting ahead of the Ferrari. Now Psychic Taco in the Mercedes is being followed quickly by Rusty Nuts. Rusty Nuts is started on pole position, had an absolute shocker at the start of this race. First 10% over, and it's really not going his way.
Yeah, and XRL Fuzzy's behind them. He's just made a pit stop on lap 7.
Seems like a very early time for a stop that as the DRS flap opens on Rusty Nuts Williams, heading towards the back of the Psychic Taco's Mercedes into turn 9. Taco taking a wide entry, just keeping ahead. So we've got Niratosti in the lead, and he's got a gap now of over a second. Limit Dead 69 has not got the DRS on him, but behind him, XRL Bernie does. So Limit Dead 69 is going to be feeling the pressure here, because that fast driving Toro Rosso has caught back up and want to return to form now that the Sauber car has been dispensed with. Look at the performance of both Niratosti and XRL Bernie, both right at the sharp end of the grid. And Bernie getting a great trap at turn 3 there, heading into turn 4, thought about a move, decided better of it, and as a result of that, Stewart V949 has got a great run as Bernie makes a mistake, goes onto the inside, and Stewart's going to have the inside line for 5. Bernie's going to try and go the wrong way round, but Stewart goes thank you very much and dives up the inside. Great opportunistic driving. And Rusty may well have pitted early, but the fact is we've not been able to catch up with how it's all been happening. He pitched on lap 1 in very strange circumstances. Definitely no drive-through, so I can only assume he had some kind of wind problem. Heading into turn 9, XRL Bernie looking at the back of the pair of McLarens, who are both bearing down on Niratosti, his teammate. Now in P5, Jamie2503 is quietly catching this lot, as Tom Chambers 92 has got the Lotus of the Awesome Panda right on his tailpipe. So we've got battles all through the field here. And meanwhile, Stewart V949 dives into the pits on lap 8. He's decided he's had enough, and so has Niratosti. Well, that's going to make things interesting. These drivers now have got to get the fast laps in while they can to avoid being undercut. And Jamie2503 with DRS, as I've lost Chris once again, I think I'm going to have to replace him with somebody else, because this makes life very, very tricky indeed. So I'll be looking to get someone else to change to take over the position. Let me see who I can have. There's loads of people to choose from. I'm going to go with Nobody. No one wants online. That's annoying. Well, in the meantime, while we wait for a few more people to come available, Jamie2503 looking at the back of XRL Bernie has gone wide at turn 5, and that's given Jamie a run on him, heading towards the chicanes of turns 6 and 7. Going to be a potential opportunity here for Jamie. Oh, but Jamie's gone all 4 tyres over the inside of 6, went completely off there. Got absolutely nowhere near him, but then Bernie's done the same at turn 8, and then Jamie's gone off the track. Either the tyres have literally hit the cliff and they've got no grip, or these guys are feeling so much pressure that they're changing their own strategies around. Ian Unstoppable for all of this, now running in P4, doing a great opportunity here. Chris Moss says he cannot continue, it's ridiculous, and I'll be perfectly honest, I agree with you. You may possibly be hearing me commentate for the last time. That's not yet confirmed though. Meanwhile, I've just noticed that Lee's online, so I'm going to ask Lee to join. Meanwhile, the 3 leaders are in the box. So we've got Stuart Beaton, we've got Lumina69 going in first, then Jamie2503, and then XRL Bernie. These 3 drivers have all got to pass each other here, and Lumina69 is going to get out ahead of them, and he's already been passed in 2nd place, and 3rd have gone through as well. In P3, P2 is Nero Toasty, and look at the gap Nero Toasty's pulled out as a result of that stop. Only 1 lap difference, but that's at least about 3 or 4 seconds there. Big difference. Meanwhile, Lee, thank you for joining me. As Lumina69 goes wide at turn 3, and as a result of that, XRL Stewart is now into P3. Well, that's a bit of a surprise there, because Lumina69 went in first, so you've expected it to be able to get moving forward.
There you go, man.
So in the meantime now, going back behind these guys in P5 down, we've got a very close cluster of cars actually. Jamie2503's got a bit of a gap, and then XRL Bernie down in P6. He's lost out quite badly as part of that the first pit stop phase. And Tom Chambers 92 in the Ferrari is right behind him now into the DRS zone. So XRL Bernie on cold times is going to be under pressure here. The newcomer Tom Chambers doing a great job so far. Taking a look at this, drawing to a disappearing wedge there, and almost bars Bernie off the track and has gone off the circuit himself. And that's going to cost him a position. The Awesome Panda goes through, and as a result of that, XRL Fozzie looks like they're attacking as well. Just as I say, doing a great job, he goes and makes a mistake like that. Talk about a commentator's curse. Meanwhile, XRL Bobber says on the stream that he hates you. I just chose someone who was available. I chose at random. In the meantime, going further on from that, Tom Chambers 92 chasing down the back of XRL Bernie, who's being chased very, very quickly here. Great move from the Awesome Panda on the DRS into turn 1. They're side by side into turn 1 itself. Bit of wheel back in XRL Bernie, and Tom Chambers 92 gets a great run on the pair of them. Heading into turn 3, he's got the tighter line. XRL Bernie's got the outside. They're almost free abreast here. Heading into turn 4, and the Awesome Panda thinks about moving into 4. Tom Chambers sees it dive on the inside. We saw Shu Bianchi do a move like this and Kobayashi at the Rascas corner of Monte Carlo, but he's just not got the grip to make it through there. But look at this, all these 3 cars very close. Awesome Panda going to the middle of the track. Tom Chambers forward run on the outside. Inside of turn 6, he's going to try and move this. Surely not, he thinks better of it. Well, these 3 cars, quickly forward by XRL Fozzie, are all over each other like an absolute rush. And then Tom Chambers goes over the inside, gains a bit of an advantage there, but the Awesome Panda and XRL Bernie have just broke away. So it's been negated, fortunately for him.
Right, I can find spectators.
Well, in the meantime, Tom Chambers looking at the back of the Awesome Panda in the Lotus, trying to catch it to XRL Bernie, who's gaining a little more pace on him now that the tyres are starting to come to temperature. But he's got to be careful that he doesn't find himself compromised. That undercut has really hurt him, because he's come out behind both the McLarens and also Jamie2503 in the Mercedes. So that's a critical pass for Jamie there to get past XRL Bernie. Oh, then Jamie's gone off the track in turns 1 and 2. Totally got his braking wrong, got away with it. And XRL Bernie now has got the Awesome Panda literally stuck to his tailpipe. Awesome Panda, I think, started on the primes and has actually been able to make them last really well. And he's got the grip in them so far to really attack that Toro Rosso. And XRL Bernie, he's been proving himself to race so far this race. But now he's got someone who's stuck with him all the way.
Not the meanwhile, struggling with rear traction, exit some corners.
And that, of course, is helping the Awesome Panda, because that's where he's able to close the gap with the higher, presumably higher downforce. He obviously don't have access to the setups here. But with the look at how his tail's going to go on the curve there with Awesome Panda. So just a little too much.
Tom Chambers just almost spun at turn 8, clipped the gravel and almost lost it.
Did he lose the position?
For a second. I think.
Yeah, XRL pauses out of him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, XRL Bernie's made a mistake at turn 14, gone wide. That's compromised his entry into the tight chicane at the end of the lap. So Awesome Panda will have momentum off the final corner into the DRS zone. And he's got half a bar of his curves as well available. Good driving this from the Lotus driver. And Panda, look at the overspeed difference. Bernie defends to the middle of the track. Awesome Panda thinks fine, I'll go to the outside. That's going to compromise him into turn 1, though. He's going to have the third tier line. Can he get the car stopped? It's going to be tight here, but he's just about made that stick. Meanwhile, up ahead, we've got another scrap going on as we've got the 11-69 looking up the inside. I believe that's Ian Unstoppable contact there as well. Almost could have caused a side pod glitch, but got away with it. The big winner from this pit stop stage, though, is Nero Toasty. He's got a gap of about 5 or 6 seconds on XRL Stewart and the 11-69.
Ian Unstoppable has a 10-second in-game penalty.
Well, that's not what we wanted to see. Those kind of things make it difficult. Of course, we don't know what that's for, so it's one of the tricky ones. Meanwhile, a couple of messages did come in on Xbox Live, so I'm going to see if I can get these from. Oh, it's just someone saying that offer to commentate. Well, thank you for your offer, Brutal, but Lee has stepped in. So in the meantime, P4, Ian Unstoppable looking at the back of the McLarens. We've pulled away a little from him now, and we are starting to see gaps forming throughout the field here. On the screen, Riotous Tag is saying hashtag F1 2013 is a bully. Wow. The game's been bullying us with connection tonight, that's for sure. We're already nearly an hour in, and we're not even a quarter of the way through the race. This is going to be a marathon tonight. Meanwhile, someone else is in the pits ahead. Who's that?
That is Ian Unstoppable.
So Ian Unstoppable's dived in on lap 14. If he started on the prime tyres, that seems very early.
I think that's decent. Especially for the first stint. Normally the prime lasts with 16, 17 laps. So, one or two laps too early.
Well, that's Harold Bernie looking at the back of the Awesome Panda. He's now being the hunter, and the Awesome Panda is the hunted. But look at the poor traction, as you talked about there, Lee. Got really poor tail slip through turn 4 and almost drifted the car through the corner. Just keep asking what has happened, what hasn't happened. This has been a total train wreck tonight. Going through the chicanes of 5 and 6, 6 and 7 even. XRL Bernie getting a bit closer to the curve and manages to avoid spinning the car. And he's got the DRS out of 8 down towards turn 9. But this one's not really an overtaking space to me. It seems more of one where you use it to catch and then have an attack down towards turn 1.
You don't really gain much speed. DRS, straight's too short.
We saw that in Monte Carlo this weekend, because when Monte Carlo happened, the only DRS assisted pass I saw was Jenson Button on his teammate who had energy recovery problems. We actually saw more overtaking into Lowe's hairpin and even the Ras Cat, so it shows that sometimes DRS isn't always cracked up to be. Well, speaking of DRS, XRL Bernie's got the flap open down towards turn 1, and the overspeed definitely coming into effect here, and XRL Bernie's going to have the tighter line. Can he get the car stopped with a loss in downforce? Just about. Almost goes off at 2, and that's given Panda a chance to run at him, get a switchback line from turn 3, and maybe if he gets a good exit, a line into 4, but Bernie defends from the middle of the track, taking a leaf out of your book there, Lee, and retains his position.
Hopefully he's half his coast defender.
I've seen quite a lot of drivers doing that. Is there an advantage of using that at turn 3? So if we're being a corner which constantly opens up, you'll be always being careful, mindful of getting oversteer and getting a bit too much transmission understeer. So surely putting more power through wouldn't corrupt the car. As Awesome Panda really finds out the hard way going over the curve at turn 8.
I just find obviously using the cows there, but 2 or 3 tenths quick in the first sector, and you don't really lose the time in the final sector when you expect to save some curves for the final corner.
But Limited 69's now got a great run on his teammate Stewart, who went off at the chicane before the final corner. He's used his curves now. Limited 69 with a DRS flat wide open, heading down towards turn 1. Limited 69's got to get past his teammate. And defence in the middle of the track there. Stewart forced him as wide as he can. But Limited 69's going to try a wall of death around the outside. And what a pass! How did he keep the car in the lines there? That was sensational driving. But XRL Stewart has now got a chance to fight back into turn 4. Deployed some of his curves to do that, taking a leaf out of your advice there, but he's just not close to gap enough to attack it to turn 4 itself.
But also Panda on the inside of Bernie, and Bernie went slightly wide.
Down around the outside. Heading into turn 5 actually, and XRL Bernie getting the slight line now, he's going wide. That's going to give Awesome Panda a chance into the chicanes if he can get a good bit of horsepower here. But look at that, Bernie defending once again to the middle of the line, forcing Panda to stay behind him. That must be so frustrating for a driver when you know you've got the pace and they just keep planting the car in that position that means you can't overtake. XRL Stewart going around the outside of turn 12 and 13, and he made his stick, but Limited 69 get back on him in the middle of the wheels, but Stewart is through in the middle of sector 3, so Limited 69 back down to 3rd place now. These drivers battling hard here like Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton this season. DRS over from Limited 69, but he's not close enough for it to be really effective. So moving back through the field, XRL Bernie's going to be under big pressure here as the Awesome Panda has the flap open down towards turn 1 in the Lotus, and XRL Bernie defends sort of to the middle line. Awesome Panda's going to go around the outside again. This is going to be tight here. Can he get the car stopped? He has indeed, but Bernie got the better line, hit the back of the car. Awesome Panda lucky not to spin there, and Panda finally gets that move done. And now he's looking to try and get after Jamie2503 in 5th place. And 4th place even. Limited 69 looking at the back of his teammate XRL Stewart B949, and Stewart made a mistake there at turn 6 and 7. Got way too much on the inside curve, and that really compromised him to turn 8. So Limited 69 will definitely close up here, but he's got to make sure he saves some of that curve, as you say, for that final corner and the blast towards DRS.
But Jamie2503, they're catching the 2 more times. But real notch.
Is that the advantage of clean air though? Because these guys have been literally locking wheels together, and that's always going to cost you a few tenths, maybe half a second or that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it just kills your tyres and just loses a lot of speed. Especially in the final sector, it's just one-way traffic. Very little space to overtake.
Limited 69 showed that to great effect actually. He had really poor traction off the final chicane. Despite looking like he was going to close up to his teammate, I think XRL Stewart's just done enough to keep him behind. And of course, Limited 69 is not only losing the grip here, but he's also going to be losing his tyres, because the dirty air does damage them, and it causes a lot of wear rate, doesn't it?
It does, definitely. And Bernie and Awesome Panda are still scrapping for 5th place.
Going through turn 3, Panda on the inside, looking to try and muscle his way through the inside of turn 4. It is possible. Oh, great late cut there from XRL Bernie. He shocks at the last second. We saw Lewis Hamilton do that on Nico Rosberg at turn 2 at Bahrain this season. XRL Bernie definitely taking the lead there, and Panda actually very wide at turn 5, like he lost all grip in the tyres. So a bit of breathing space for now for XRL Bernie, but he's got to make the most of it, or else Panda's going to be back to join battle once again. Just moving back through the field, Ian Unstoppable after his pit stops down in 8th place, ahead of his teammate Rusty Nuts in 9th, and he's actually being followed by Fozzie. Actually, Rusty Nuts makes a mistake, goes on the inside, turns 6 and 7 into the gravel, so Fozzie now takes P9 in the Ferrari, battling his way back through the points here, and Psychic Taco out of the points at the moment in 11th place. One of the drivers of the week last week in Bahrain has really not found his form here in Spain.
Big part in the division last night, and he finished 4th, so I expect a lot better tonight from Taco. Performing his absolute best.
Very interesting that. Meantime, on the stream, got some news for myself. Writer's Tax saying that the special guest starter for the Le Mans 24 Hour is none other than Fernando Alonso. Well, that's pretty cool. He attended it a few years ago when Luca Di Montezemolo started the race. So it's cool that he's going to go there. It'd be nice to see the guy. And obviously we're talking to his good friend Mark Webber, who's back at Le Mans for the first time in like 24 years, I think. No, 14 years, sorry. Last race there in 1999. Meanwhile, XRL Bomber's making an observation, saying that the rain looks like it's on its way. I mean, with the clouds as it is now at the moment, would you like to make a prediction of when you'd expect it, Lee?
Well, I thought it would come in much earlier. I thought the reason why Russ did it in the first lap was that the engineer told him that rain is on its way. Obviously, that hasn't happened, so I can't predict when the rain's going to come, or if it's going to come anyway. You never know.
No, so it's, 43% chance of rain. It's less chance than more, so you'd expect it not to rain. Well, that doesn't mean anything, doesn't it? Meantime, XRL saying the taco is quick on this track. The random grid buggered it all up for him, and I really feel for him. That's a very fair point from XRL Bobbers. The random grid actually got him started down in 12th place, so obviously he would have had a better chance of maybe getting up to a decent position in qualifying. As Tom Chambers comes in for a first pit stop, I think he's on lap 20. So if he's made his tyres last that long, that's a really good strategy.
I don't think so. That's impossible.
Rice's tag is predicting. Rice's tag predicts lap 34 for when the rain will come, because it was 43% chance of rain. Clever. In the meantime, LNG Killers was asking what the percentage chance of rain was. Well, Rice has already answered that for you. So moving further up the field, Awesome Panda has lost about 2 seconds on Bernie now, so Bernie is going to make the hay while he can here. But Jamie 2503 has started to catch those McLarens as Living Dead once again goes wide at turn 8 and almost goes into the gravel once again. Heading off turn 9, it's a 10 and 11, Living Dead 69, really getting decent power there. And at the same time, ahead of him, Stewart's getting poor traction off these slower corners in sector 3. And this is giving Living Dead 69 a great opportunity. If he can get a decent run out of these final 2 corners, well, he's not got any curves though. Living Dead 69's deployed his curves somewhere on track, so he's going to have to rely on the DRS. And I'm not sure the gap is going to be small enough. In fact, it's used half its curves along with the DRS. That's a surprising strategy. Is that the kind of thing you'd really expect a driver to do?
Yeah, it's to get to the top speed, like, quicker.
Oh, Living 69's been a big mistake at turn 3. Gone totally off there, carrying way too much speed. Got a lot of marbles, and that's really compromised him. And he's retaliating with yet more curves. Really using it in places I wouldn't expect.
He's trying to stay within that DRS zone. Straight after turn 8.
But do you think you can get guilty of overdriving the car when you set yourself that kind of goal? It's like, ooh, I'm 1.2 seconds, I need to make the 2 cents, and then you make that critical mistake. Because look at Jamie 2503. He's probably closer to Living Dead 69 than Stewart is.
Yeah, I think he is.
So Jamie 2503 will be happy to have seen those mistakes, because of course we've seen the pace that Jamie has. He's often brought some good racing here in the GP2 division, and he'll be fancying a podium, maybe even getting towards the victory depending on how the rain falls. But of course the one who's done really well so far this race is Nero Toasty. Having had the first corner contact with, I believe that was XRL Fozzy, he's fought his way back, gone into the lead, and then taken on the pit stops to pull away. That's a lot of doing. Meanwhile, we didn't get this, but Awesome Panda is past Bernie. I don't know if Bernie's made a mistake, but Awesome Panda is now in P5 and outside the DRS zone.
Well, battle for 9th place, I reckon that challenged by, is that Tom Chambers, the new JP2?
In the Ferrari.
Yes.
And Tom Chambers got a brilliant run there. He almost went into the back of Rusty Nelson's car, but he's already alongside when the DRS comes available. Now the question is, can Rusty use that to get a decent toe and fight back into turn 1? Coming into here, looks like Tom Chambers is just going to have too much speed here. But look at that, he's got a 4XL2 though, and Rusty is already closing the gap. And Rusty's taking a very wide line there at 3.
Probably down to turn 8, and Tom Chambers done a brand new set option test. He only put like 2 laps ago, so he should put it away here.
Yeah, it's what you'd expect. Well, again, it's a question of not whether we've got lag, but it's whether the driver is also not going to make the mistakes. Even no matter how fresh your tyres are, if the guy behind you's putting pressure on, you're going to make an error. Just look at Esteban Gutierrez at the Rascas Corner in Monte Carlo. on his weapons was solid points of salvo, and then overdrove the car, turned it too early and blew his race. It only takes a small mistake like that, no matter how new your tires are. Meantime, moving through the field, I don't know if that's both McLarens that are close to each other up ahead, going through the penultimate corner. Eno Stone, no, actually, it's XRL Bernie, once again catching up to the Awesome Panda, and he's got the DRS. These two have got nailed to each other's gearboxes all the way through this race so far. Really putting on a show for the fans so far tonight. XRL Bernie getting a slightly better line than the Awesome Panda, which is a bit of a surprise considering XRL Bernie will have had the turbulent air there, and Bernie's really got decent grip coming off turn 3 into turn 4 as Awesome Panda drifts a little wide. XRL Bernie's looking up the back of that Lotus, and I think he'll be eyeing up a move down into turn 9, maybe down to turn 1, depending on how he gets his run out of these high-speed chicanes that are coming up.
That's just leaving the pits.
On the stream, meanwhile, LNG Killers has said that Jamie said recently that this was one of his weakest tracks. Well, if one of his weakest tracks gets in 4th position, he should definitely be eyeing a championship charge, because needless to say, that's what you want. Meanwhile, XRL Bernie using DRS to catch up to the Awesome Panda, just not got that move done. On the stream, meanwhile, Brutal Reaper sending a message through Xbox Live, watching on the Twitch app, saying that Nira Toasty for the win. Well, he's definitely in the pound seats at the moment, but again, look at a confused Emu in the 2012 game.
I think Toasty's just pitted. Yes, yeah, it's option tires.
That's interesting. So Nira Toasty's already gone into the box. Awesome Panda's also gone in. Now, XRL Bernie, is he going to come out ahead of his teammate? I don't think he is. I think Nira Toasty, 2 tyres. We're over the white line there. I wonder if the game may give him an in-game warning for that.
I just saw rain at turn 1.
You're not wrong. Turn 3. Nira Toasty's pitted for a set of option tyres. The rain comes. Now, could that be a masterstroke in that he's got the freshest tyres when the grip started to fall away? Could that work to his favour?
If the track gets wet quickly. I've done a lot of practice in dynamic weather, and it does take a few laps for the track to get slippery.
I mean, if he's got his rich fuel mix, if he's got that available, put it onto rich, using the fresh option tyres, might be a great opportunity to steal the march. But Lewin 69, meanwhile, is all over the back of his teammate Stewart, who now leads the Grand Prix. And this is a problem for the McLaren team. Who do they go for first? Who's going to dive in? Who's going to have control of the pit stops? And it doesn't help that Jamie 2... Oh, big mistake there for Stewart! Made a huge mistake! Lewin 69 goes right past him, and Jamie 2503 is surely going to have the DRS to blast right past him there on the pit straight, and he doesn't even have a chance of defending. And despite Stewart getting all the way up nearer to the DRS speed, it's just not enough to stop Jamie. Jamie now sandwiches the pair of these McLarens. So he's the filling in a McLaren sandwich, not where Jamie 2503 really wants to be, but he's now got a chance to fight for victory. Nira Toasty, meanwhile, is about 8 seconds adrift of these guys. So I tell you what, that could well have been a masterstroke. If he lasts about a second of the lap quicker, he might just make the time up. And especially if these 3 cars start scrapping, because Jamie is all over the back of Lewin 69 and Stewart has stayed with Jamie. So if these 3 get into a bit of a battle, anything's possible.
It's starting to get a bit heavy now.
Well, on the stream, XRL Bollocks reckons it's 5 laps, so you need to change tyres to intermediate. So he's reckoning that it's going to be about lap 30. Reasonable estimate, definitely. The rain is getting a bit heavier, but the track doesn't seem to be getting that moist.
Yeah, Bollocks is quite right there. It does take a while for the track to get ready for sprinters. We'll keep on board with Toasty. I think he'll be allowed in at least 2 seconds quicker than the guys ahead.
That's what I mean. So if he's gone for the option tyres now, just as the grip's starting to go away, he's got the best grip possible. So it might well work in his favour here, as XRL Stewart has got the DRS open on the back of Jamie 2503, who doesn't seem to be closing that well on Lewin 69, his teammate in first place. So for the McLarens, this is as best as they can get so far. They really needed those 2 out in front, though, controlling the pace, rather than being hassled by the Mercedes in the middle. On the stream, on the Brutal Reaper saying it's better to have the better grip. But at the same time, I'm not sure Nira's closed the gap. He's currently going for turn 3, not by much.
Well, he was lapping 2 seconds quicker than the leader, Lemon did 69.
But the gap doesn't seem to have come down that much on the screen. That's interesting. Now we've got XRL Stewart heading into turn 6 and 7, goes all 4 tyres over the inside. You don't want to do that in the rain. Hitting the curves, that's a very suicidal thing to do.
He's about 5 seconds behind Stewart, and always just clipped the gravel at turn 8.
Kept it going though, he's still there, so his Neratos is doing everything possible, attacking.
That rain's getting very heavy now.
It is, isn't it? And if you look at the track as well, the black line is getting wider. That tells you that the water is falling heavier, but the tyres have not started picking moisture up yet. And actually, interestingly, Limited 69's gone in. Well, that seems a bit early for me, unless the conditions are absolutely perfect.
There's no spray. I'm not seeing any spray.
That's what I mean, there's no spray or any kind of thing from the tyres. So that seems very early.
But he's put Renters.
Well, follow him for now. Follow him for now, just to see what the conditions are like. Neratosti in P3 now. That's really closer to the back. Oh, Stewart doing a really good job here. XRL Bobber says not good for McLaren's here being so close and having to pit maybe at the same time. Not anymore. They don't. Living Dead 69 evidently decided to sacrifice himself.
Sector 1 is very wet now. I think Living Dead keeping up with Fozzie and the Williams ahead, who are on slicks.
Ian and Stockwell, yeah, so they're both on prime tyre slicks, so this is what I want to watch here.
He's caught them. Living Dead's made the right call.
Well, this will cause a big blink here. XRL Bob was saying 2 more laps. Evidently not. LGS, the expert in the box. Oh, as Neratosti goes past XRL Stewart, then goes off the track at 9. So I think he's outbraked himself, but he keeps second place. That happened off camera. So XRL Stewart is now down to P3, and Jamie 2503 is in the lead. So I'm guessing Stewart made a mistake because both cars are past him.
Oh, here comes Living Dead. He's right behind Fozzie. It's time to...
Neratosti and Jamie have both stayed out. XRL Stewart has gone in and the conditions look horrible in Sector 1. I'm really surprised.
Maybe they're trying to stay up for wet.
It looks like the rain's really come down, hasn't it? Look at the rain in Sector 1. Behind the other Stockwell, we've also got XRL Fozzie in as well. Stewart's coming out on the intermediate tyres and his teammate Flash is past him. Shows the difference here, because look at how much time he's gained by going into the pits with those intermediate tyres. But are these guys out in front, Neratosti and Jamie, are they going to be able to make the double gap work? It's potentially possible, and actually, Neratosti's all over the back of Jamie 2503, and Jamie's let him through. Jamie's actually just pulled out of his way.
Wow.
But Jamie's got a big problem. In fact, he's spinning up the tyres all the time. He's got absolutely zero grip.
It won't be long till the track's ready for wet.
Well, I wonder if any one of these drivers... Oh, yeah, Jamie's gone straight on at 9. He's gone over the marble, onto the red AstroTurf, and that's cost him at least 4 seconds, and he's going to easily come out behind Living Dead 69, more than likely behind... In fact, no, I don't even know if he's going to make it round. He's very, very slow for turn 13. Into 14, the conditions are absolutely treacherous. This is like a Spa in 2008 when both Kimi Räikkönen and Lewis Hamilton stayed out. Yeah, Toasty Box, and so does Jamie. Both guys are in, so in the meantime, we'll stay on board with Living Dead 69 in the McLaren. Has he got the march here? Has he been able to blast past these two? He's easily going to get Jamie because of the amount of grip loss, and Toasty as well. Toasty's got absolutely no chance of catching up to him. XR Stewart is also through, so both McLarens have passed. And yes, Toasty is on the intermediate tyres. Evidently not yet ready to go for the wet, but I might have made a punt if I was one of them two, because the rain conditions look absolutely horrendous at the moment.
We're not seeing the standing water near the racing line. Once we see that standing water, it's time to pit.
We've seen a lot of spray off the tyres now, so that suggests it's going to be sooner rather than later in terms of when it'll happen, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
XRL Bernie, meanwhile, he's done a great job. He's in P5 now, just behind Jamie2503, ahead of Ian Unstoppable in P6, and then down in 7. XRL Fozzy has quietly fought his way back into the field after that first lap incident. So it just goes to show, keeping your head down and trying to keep out of trouble, you can really steal a result if you keep your head in the game. The big loser, of course, is actually the Awesome Panda. He's down in 8th place. He's really lost out considering he was running as high as 5th at one point. Psychic Taco's now back in the points, staring at the back of Tom Chambers in the sister Ferrari. So Psychic Taco in 10th and Chambers in 9th. And we're not even at half distance yet, and we're already nearly at 9:30. This is a very, very long race here, viewers. Thank you all for staying with us, despite all the hassle we've had to go through to bring you coverage. Me and also Lee Scott here giving you coverage in the box. XRL Fozzy now is all over the back of Ian Unstoppable. No DRS, of course, due to the weather conditions. So if XRL Fozzy wants that position, he'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Getting a great toe. Ian Unstoppable defends to the inside line. Fozzy's going to try and go around the outside. They contact tyres. Ian Unstoppable just about holds on to the position due to their tyres brushing. Ian Unstoppable's got to be very careful. That's the kind of thing that can cause a penalty. Heading into turn 4, XRL Fozzy getting a good line here, looking at the back of Ian Unstoppable in the Williams. But Ian Unstoppable got a better traction off 4 though, but then he goes wide at 5, and that's going to give Fozzy a great opportunity. If he can get his car planted, he might even get ahead to turn 6 here. He's fancying it, Fozzy's not going to back out. They push tyres once again. These two really pushing the aggression here. This really is like when Kamui Kobayashi was barshed by Julie Yankee. These guys are literally putting the wheels right in each other's side pods at the moment.
I think it's time to set for wet. In standing water.
There's a little bit, but it's not a huge amount. It's only at certain corners. And again, you saw that in Interlagos 2003, when we saw it at turn 3, a couple of drivers out. But some drivers...
I think that's Stuart in the pits.
Let's move further forward then, because currently running in P5 is XRL Bernie, and then, Jamie2503 in 3rd, and it was indeed Stuart. Stuart's gambled on the wet tyres here. Now, that's interesting, because these are the intermediates on for what, 2 laps? Maybe it was worth going straight for the wets, because even if you were only, like, say, if you were 8 seconds off the pace, you'd still have less time used up than the pit stop. Ian Unstoppable now is right behind the McLaren. And look at XRL Fozzy on the inside of turn 3. Ian Unstoppable just without the grip in these conditions. And Fozzy's blasted past him. But then Fozzy's nearly spun the car. Ian Unstoppable had to actually brake at the last second. And Awesome Panda has now got all over his gearbox.
Yeah, Stuart's made the right call for the 2.5 on Fozzy and Cole.
He's completely outgapped him, so unbelievable here. Very good drama here at Catalunya, Spain. Awesome Panda looking at the back of Ian Unstoppable and the Williams, who's attacking XRL Fozzy in the Ferrari. These 3 cars are not going to let each other go here. Curse deployed by the Awesome Panda as he pulls out the spray, gets himself better visibility to turn 9. Ian Unstoppable fancies the disappearing wedge, and XRL Fozzy goes off the track. Ian Unstoppable's going to try and go around the outside of 10, and into the filtering line for 11, and he's made that stick. Beautiful job there.
Everyone's trying to pit now, 11 deads in. Bill's toasty.
Ian Unstoppable's gone off the track at turn 14. Before the chicane, Fozzy goes back through. Panda was just too far behind to affect the pass though. And all 3 drivers are going to box at the same time here. It's going to be an absolute manic queue of cars. Oh, Fozzy hitting the wall. And he's damaged his end plate. That's absolutely critical because he's going to have to change his nose cone. He'll be jumped by the pair of them. And who's behind Awesome Panda? Psychic Taco will also likely jump in.
Lemon Dead keeps his lead, but the gap is reduced to about a second.
Awesome Panda now in P7, having gone ahead of a couple of cars. XRL Fozzy, meanwhile, manages to hang on to 6th place. I'm surprised at that, because it looked like he'd have to get a new wing. Might have been because it was too close. And meanwhile, overhead, someone's made an error. Don't know who that was. XRL Bernie's now in P5 on the wet tyres. Jamie as well on the wet tyres in 4th place. And it was Nero Toasty. Nero Toasty has fallen out of the lead. He's in 3rd place.
The front lane end plate.
Fozzy, you mean?
I know from your toasty.
No, you're right, yeah, Niratosti's lost an end plate. Not sure why that's happened, but losing downforce in conditions like these is the last thing you want to do. And he actually goes off the track at turn 9. So much understeer. Moving back for a fit.
Stuart's back in the lead. Lemonster's gone off somewhere.
This is like a roulette wheel at the moment. It's just like red or black. Take your bet, because it's really strange. Everyone seems to be struggling, really finding it difficult to get the conditions down here. And obviously, with the unsettling nature of the qualifying, it's made things even worse for them. Limited 69 in P2, looking at the back of XRL Stewart in P1, but they're not close enough to attack here. As Stewart clicks the inside curve at 2, very nearly spins the car, but manages to catch it. Well, Brutal Reaper sends a message saying that XRL Bernie and Niratosti have the pace and the drive. Well, that's hopeful, but unfortunately when it rains, it's your pace then that matters, and it seems the McLaren drivers have just been able to hold it together. Limited 69 may have made mistakes a bit, but he's still caught up to his teammate and he's catching up.
I think Tosti's catching the tail of them.
Going for turn 9 now. Limited 69 makes a mistake. Nearly goes off the circuit, and that's going to bring Niratosti even closer to him, heading down towards the turn 13. And Niratosti's closed the gap a little bit, but he's not done enough to get close enough to the McLarens. And of course, without the DRS, that's going to make things even trickier. With the rain coming down, it seems to have settled the pace of the field down. We've not quite got the gaps that we had before, or the duels.
Ian O'Stobber, I think he spun at the turn 6 and 7 chicane. No, all the way down 10th place.
Interesting, Sidekick Taco is now in P7, ahead of the awesome Panda. Well, this is a strong recovery drive, because of course, having been caught out by that random grid, he now finds himself in P7, clear track ahead of him, and while Panda's behind him, he's got the gap so far. Taco might be in a chance here to get himself back towards the front of the grid, depending on how the conditions go out. And interestingly, those puddles are starting to drift away a bit. Maybe we see intermediate tyres in about 10 laps' time.
The thing is about this game is, when you're on the race, the track takes forever to dry. And, oh, hold on, two McLarens are still scrapping. Yeah, the track will take a long time. Right.
Awesome Panda nearly spins it at turn 5 there. So with the rain obviously being hard to clear, you can expect the
11.69 overtaking Stewart.
Those guys seem to be just switching round all the time here at the moment. It's really crazy. On the street lights, attack randomly causing someone a douche. Don't know why. Very stupid thing to be saying. But XRL Stewart going to get close to the back here of his teammate, Linda 69. Heading out towards turn 1. No DRS. And he's actually saved his curse bar. Evidently afraid to use it in too many of the wet patches here. An extra 80 horsepower in conditions like this is surely not the best advantage in the world.
Over on the inside.
And that drifted in very wide at turn 3 as well. You saw how wide he went there, almost onto the AstroTurf. Very little grip going to be available there. And right now, Niratosti is really catching on to him. In P3 now, Tosti's right behind. And we've got another 3-car scrap for the lead. These McLarens seem to find themselves constantly at the front of the grid in this race, but they just don't seem to be able to gap the cars behind. They don't seem to be able to get the pace to be able to control the race. Heading out towards turn 9, Niratosti looks in the back of XRL Stewart, who's in second place in the McLaren. Limited 69 in P1, and Stewart gets a poor traction there off turn 9 into 10 and 11. So Niratosti will be rubbing his hands a bit here, because this gives him an opportunity. That gap has visibly dropped down now between Nero Tolstoy and also between XRL Stewart. So the McLaren driver's got to be careful he doesn't get caught out here. Poor traction off the corner from Tolstoy into turn 16. Didn't really get the pace advantage I expected.
Yeah, Tolstoy, the size he's showing is fast with damaged front wing.
I mean, you don't want to be throwing yourself at the foot of the field when you've only got an end plate damage. Might be better to suck it and see and try and cope with it, surely.
We'll be nearing pit stop time for another set of full wets, about 5-6 laps time.
Ian O'Stoppel's got a great chance to attack Tom Chambers here, who got a poor run before the chicane at 14 and 15. And Ian O'Stoppel gets stuck right in the slipstream. But without the DRS, there's no real way to close more speed than this. Pulls out to turn 1, he's going to make a very late down with the brakes, very brave in these conditions. And Tom just about resists there. But needless to say, Ian O'Stoppel saying he's not afraid to fight here, regardless of the conditions. If Tom Chambers wants to finish ahead of him, he's going to have to fight for it. Ian O'Stoppel really wants to try and live up to his name. Well, here's one to test your opinion on the track here, Lee. According to Brutal Reapers, he reckons on the lap here at Spain, 1:27 is the time for intermediate tyres. Do you agree with that?
1:29.
So you think it's slightly slower?
Yeah.
Well, all you people out there who are watching from the lower divisions, whether you're in GP3, whether you're in F4000, F5000 or the newly formed T6, what's your opinions? You guys have been doing your practice for Spain. Of course, tomorrow night, GP3 and F4000 happen on the same night. I believe F4000 is getting streamed and GP3 not, but I don't know. So that's up to the streamers, keep an eye out for that. Then F5000 and T6 will be double cast, or simulcast should I say, on the Wednesday evening. And I also believe the XRL Classics will be happening on the Saturday. Right as time, you can put details for that in the chat box because you're not here to do it on the mic.
Yep, well, I race in the classics. It's on the Saturday at
Consider the torch passed to you then.
I hope the race is going to be streamed. I just hope that Dan can, or someone can, that has 90s content that can stream.
By the meantime now, the field seems to have spread out a bit apart from the top 3. Nero Tolstoy going off the track again at turn 9. Really struggling to get that Toro Rosso stopped all of a sudden. Maybe it's the front wing damage or maybe it's the conditions. But either way, finds it very, very difficult to get the car stopped into that corner. XRL Bombers is splitting the pair of you and Brutal. Says he reckons 1:28 is the right time for intermediates. I don't know if that's him being serious or being facetious. Interestingly, Nero Tolstoy's into the box. Let's ride on board with the Toro Rosso driver as he goes into the box here. No doubt a fresh wing will come available, but what tyres are going on? Is it going to be the full wets or the intermediates? And expect the full wets, and they are. That's what he's gone for. XRL Bernie, his teammate, flashes past the pits to take 4th position. In P3, meanwhile, we've got Jamie 2503 in the Mercedes, and then both of them as McLaren drivers. We've got a bit of a gap from each other now. They're not tripping over each other as much. Livingstone 69 in P1 and Stuart B949 in 2nd place.
Yeah, I think once the fuel is goes down, the crossover point between wets and inters, the times will be quicker, so maybe the 1:28, 1:27 could be a reasonable time. But in practice, a 1:29 was a good crossover point.
XRL Bubba says he was being serious. Well, we'll take your word for that. Ian O'Stoppel while P9 has got past Tom Chambers 92. So the newcomer in the Ferrari committed himself quite well here, considering he started at the foot of the field along with Psychic Taco. Done a decent pace. I mean, his fastest lap was a 1:22.7 before the rain came. That's not bad pace. Definitely showing he's got enough here. Alan G. Killers, meanwhile, reckons that another 15 laps or so of wet and then it will start to dry. Brutal Reapers, meanwhile, says he's in T6 and believes it should dry soon. It's a tricky one to call because, as you said before, Lee, it seems that the rain just seems to stick around for a long time, and it's tricky to know exactly when the crossover is.
You know, remember in Malaysia in the F1 division, so many people pit for enters and just struggled, like Andy, Fearless, Jambo.
That's very true, yeah, exactly. So top.
You got to get it right. It's so important.
Well, that's what well, you only have to look at Donington 1993 with Ayrton Senna. You only have to look at Montreal 2011 with Jenson Button. Being on the right tyres at exactly the right point can be the difference between like half a lap and a full lap down. It really makes a big difference. Tom Chambers 92 in the slipstream for Ian Stoppable, but no DRS to assist him, and the Ferrari driver has to stick behind the Williams for now. Now, 11-69 drifting into turn 9 there, really getting poor grip. And also, Stewart's not finding it very easy either. These tyres evidently going away. As you said before, it does seem that they wear quite heavily, despite them being designed for rain conditions.
Yeah, I think they at the start of the 100% race, they've got off the clock about 12 laps. But obviously, the fuel load's gone down a bit, so 13, 14 laps. And everyone pit on lap 31, so we're not far away from pit stops.
Be interesting. Well, we've already seen Nero Toasty going for theirs, which seems a bit of an early move. Evidently trying to break that broken wing and get it out of the way, and maybe trying to extend the tyre stint. And actually, XRL Bernie's gone in as well. So Nero Toasty's going to go back ahead of his teammate. XRL Bernie, with only 26 laps to go, these guys will be obviously wondering what the pit stop strategy will be to the end. Into the box, and he goes for a set of wet tyres as well. So evidently, XRL Fozzie's followed him in P6. He's going to lose a couple of places here as the further drives filter through. So Awesome Panda now in P7. XRL Bernio is just going to come out ahead of, I think that's Psychic Taco on the Mercedes. He's come out in P5 ahead of that critical move there for XRL Bernie. But once again, Bernie's got Awesome Panda bearing down on him, and this time he's brought Psychic Taco for company. XRL Bernie will not be happy about that. He'll have hoped he saw the back of him for the rest of the afternoon.
Bernie's on a brand new set, but obviously I don't think an undercut is very powerful in these conditions.
Well, I think the problem as well is you never know when the rain's going to stop, so you could undercut someone and gain massively because you've got the tyres out of the way 2 laps early and the rain stops 2 laps earlier than you think. Or you could undercut 2 laps earlier and the rain lasts for 4 laps. So you're on really bad tyres when the crossover dries happens. So I think that's the problem. It's easier to put up with slightly extended wear when the conditions are dry. You can lift and coast into the corner, you can short shift, you do all those kind of things. In the rain, you've not really got the option. It's either wet or it's dry. And if you call it wrong, well, again, Spa 2008, look at Kimi Raikkonen, ended up crashing into the barriers, and look at the likes of Nick Heidfeld, who stole a podium position out of it. But Awesome Panda and Psychic Taco have both dived into the box, evidently reacting to the stops of the likes of XRL Fozzie and XRL Bernie. Well, Fozzie's going to go back through, so they're not going to have gained any net time on them, so bit of an interesting one, that really, but again, who knows when the rain's going to stop?
The track's not drying up at all.
There's still a lot of puddles, isn't there? I mean, look at the pit stop there at the end of the pit lane. Lots of puddles going into turn 1. Definitely not the kind of conditions you want to put into. Oh, Psychic Taco really pushed the limits of car control there. He really dragged that rally driver style through that corner. Brutal Reaper's got a question, says, do you think this is the last set of wets? Well, with the lap times available, possible. You don't think so?
Everyone needs to make at least one more stop if conditions stay the same. Actually, once everyone made one more stop, then they have no more sets of wets to use.
Do you reckon the next stop will be for intermediates?
I don't think so, not yet.
It's turn 9, Awesome Panda looking at the back of Psychic Taco, who's done a great recovery drive from P12 on the grid. I think it was P12, but it might have been P11. Either way, it's come back from outside the top 10 and running outside the top 10 as well. Psychic Taco was not having a good race, but has got himself back into contention now when the conditions have come a bit more awkward. Now, Taco's got a bit of clean air and a gap of about maybe a second and a half over Panda. If he can avoid getting stuck in a battle with Panda, he might just be able to claw his way back in. But the problem he's got is that both Fozzie in 6th place and XRL Bernie in 5th are on fresh sets of wet tyres, so they are going to have the best grip. Jamie2503 running in P4 at the moment, doing a great job for Mercedes. Again, having found himself out of position at the start. Nero Tosti's fought back to P3, but is well off the back of the two McLarens now, who are out in front by quite some distance. XRL Stewart, they've actually lapped somebody, I'm not sure who that is, but it's someone who they've gone past and lapped, one of the back markers. That might be Ian Unstoppable or Rusty in the Williams, it's one of a pair.
Rusty, I think.
Living Dead 69 goes on to start lap 43. Got a gap of maybe 4 seconds on his teammate, approximately. So, Living Dead's doing a good position at the moment to give himself a good chance. If McLaren are intelligent, the drivers would agree to stay where they are, keep the gap where it is about now, which would probably just give them time to stop in the pits without double stacking. Because they're not really under...
I don't think this team orders at McLaren.
Well, they don't. In real life, traditionally, they don't. But obviously, it's a question of how the drivers drive. If there was, when you think about the conditions as being as treacherous as they are, maybe going for the more conservative strategy, like winning the battle and losing the war, is the better way to play it for once. Awesome Panda chasing onto the back of Psychic Taco. But again, he's about 1.5 seconds of drifting without the DRS. Awesome Panda's finding it very difficult to catch that Mercedes. Psychic Taco, though, as he said, has proven himself to be on the pace of many of the drivers in the higher division, let alone the division he's in. So he's not going to be an easy person to pass, no matter what the weather. And so, unfortunately, we do have a bit of a wide berth between the cars at the moment. Interestingly, Living at 69 is in the box, and Stewart stayed out. Rather than avoiding double stacking, Stewart's committed to the longer strategy. Now, Nero Toasty, I don't think it's going to come out anywhere near Living Dead here, because he's only just going around the final corner. That's going to be quite close here, between the McLaren driver and the Toro Rosso. The McLaren's on the end of pit road, but I think Nero Toasty's just going to have the pace to get ahead. Living Dead 69 watches Toasty go by. So Toasty's got ahead for now, but the critical question is, when will that water start to clear from the track, and when will the intermediates become available?
Living Dead should catch Toasty. He's on a brand new set. Because the tower is quite high.
He's not far away either, because going through turn 4, I'd say there's maybe 2 seconds between them. So Nero Toasty's definitely going under pressure sooner rather than later.
He's been a lot easier on his tyres. He's the last person to pit for a new set of wets.
That does put you in the pound seats. And actually, on the stream, Brutal Reaper says, great driving from Living Dead tonight. He made a couple of mistakes. He's not come completely with the conditions, but has done enough to be able to make things work. Meanwhile, on the stream, Bobbits and Chris, if you're going to take any kind of battle like that, go to a Shakespearean reenactment club. Don't do it on my chat box. Here, Tostin, it is getting lighter, yeah, but as we said before, just because the rain's getting lighter doesn't mean the water's being cleared from the track, because it still looks like an ice rink, doesn't it? I mean, like, look at how many puddles are through the final corner. But if the rain continues at this rate, it might well stop in the next couple of laps, and that could compromise Living Dead, because if he's come to stop right at the end of this cycle, when the water's falling away, he's going to be the one losing out, rather than gaining the time.
Living Dead, he went off-line. He stayed to the right on the pit straight to get some water.
He's trying to keep the tyre temperature on the tyres. That's interesting, isn't it? Because with the puddles that we can see on screen, it doesn't seem like the conditions are right for that, but he's still catching Nero Toasty. He's actually caught really close up to the back of him now. So Toasty under big pressure here. Running in P2 and still in the potential for a win. I think it's all going to come down to who can call the strategy right. Who's going to be the first one to pit and get it sweet on as a nut and get the grip at the best possible chance. Because I say again, confused Emu at Spa when it lost it at Campus on the final corner, gifting a victory to F1 Nige. We have got precedent. Oh, look at that 69. Not sure if he dropped out to the wrong gear there. Almost spun the car, but great car control to almost do like a parallel parking kind of move that you saw Russ Swift do back in the 1990s, and it's just about made that work. Well, Jamie2503 has actually got XRL Bernie all over the back of him. So XRL Bernie's batting above his average, now in P5. He'll be very pleased actually, because he's not had a very good last few weeks. Found it really difficult, really toiled in that Sauber. The switch to Toro Rosso has definitely helped him.
Oh, Rusty is the first driver to go back onto the intermediate tyres.
Well, Rusty... Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of strategy I'd done. If you're out of the points, you're in P11, you're probably well off the pace. What have you got to lose? You know, if you go on now and you steal the march, then you might get yourself back into the points. It's worth it. Meanwhile, Nero Toasty going very, very wide at turn 4, really pushing the car to the ragged edge. And Limited 69 is now all over the back of it, the fresher, wet tyres, giving him tons more grip. And Toasty goes onto the AstroTurf on the outside of 4 and into 5, going into turn 6 and 7. Nero Toasty going over the white lines, almost into the second sleeve policeman there. So easy to spin the car into turn 8 before the DRS zone. No DRS available. The Limited 69 is bearing down on him very, very quickly indeed.
We are at the crossover point because Toasty and Limited are lapping 127 to 128.
Nero Toasty goes wide at turn 10 and Limited 69 flying for dive on the inside of 11, but Toasty just about covers him off. But Nero Toasty is really struggling for grip now, really getting that car pointing in the wrong direction a lot of the time. We might see Toasty dive for the box here. And no, he stayed out. Toasty's not blinked, but he's going to be under big pressure on Limited 69. Limited will be looking at the back of that Toro Rosso and thinking, you're mine for the taking. Gets into the slipstream and into the middle of the track. Toasty defends, uses the curves. Limited 69 goes to the outside. Can he get the car stopped into the corner? Near Toasty goes from the more traditional line, but Limited 69 takes the position and is now bearing down on his teammate Stewart to take the lead. But he goes wide at turn 3, goes off the grass, and look at that Toasty using the curves to opportunistically slip right back past him. Almost Fernando Alonso-esque the way he did that.
Rusty is struggling on the intermediate tyres.
Limited 69 side by side with Toasty now, literally right on the outside of turn 5. Oh, Limited 69 squeezed to the outside by Toasty. Limited 69 has to give the move up into turn 6 and 7 as Toasty once again goes too wide on the curve at the inside. Nearly throws him off the track into turn 8 and he goes all 4 tyres off, completely cuts the corner. Well, Limited 69 using the curves, getting as close, going to the inside. Is Limited 69 going to make him move? Oh, they made contact and Nero Toasty on the outside. Limited 69 hangs on, and Nero Toasty going side by side to 10, Toasty on the better line to 11, but Limited 69 takes the position. But Nero Toasty in the better line as tail slip into turn 14. Toasty passes the inside, they're still side by side into the chicane, and Limited 69 surely going the better line here and takes the position, but Toasty made that very difficult for him.
Toasty has to respect the track limits. He's done it a lot over the past 2 laps.
It's one of the things that's being punished very heavily in XR Racing League. Go over the track limits too much and you will get penalties. He's got to be careful.
Right, just have a look back.
Meanwhile, Limited 69 is actually catching very quickly up to the back of his teammate, XRL Stewart. XRL Stewart got poor line for a turn 3 there, and they've actually got traffic ahead of them. Is that Rusty on the intermediate tyres? I think it is, you know. Yes, it is. By the way, he went off the track. Now, Limited 69's gone on the outside there, over the white lines. He can't pass his teammate or it will be deemed an illegal overtake. He realises that and lets him through. But Living Dead 69 really muscling the back of Stewart's car. The pit stop when he did has given the best possible grip as we're in the potential crossover period. But look at that. Stewart not getting the straight line speed there at all. But he still passes a very late dive into turn 9. That's almost suicidal. And he actually scares his teammate off the track. He went nowhere near him. But at the same time, Stewart gave him a big wide berth. Great opportunity. Oh, Neratosti! What was that? Neratosti, oh, he's hit him again. And then like it was over the inside. I'm sure that was all 4 tyres off. Oh dear, Neratosti's really got himself in trouble here. And Stewart's going to blink for the tyres.
Oh, now that's interesting. Because Toasty made it, it looked like he made an illegal overtake.
Wet tyres for Stewart. Stewart's gone on the wets. He's not feeling confident enough. Jamie 2003 is now in P3. And Neratosti, well, it's a dubious second place. Was it an illegal overtake? It will have to be reviewed after the race. Happened at turn 14 on lap 48. Meanwhile, RNG Killer says he'd hate the wet conditions on Wednesday for F5000 and also thinks that Toasty and Living Dead fighting would help Stewart. Well, it's pretty much the other way around now because Stewart's gone into the box and Toasty's trying to bear down on Living Dead and the rain has stopped, but the puddles are not clearing.
Stewart is going to struggle at the end of the race on those tyres. He's got no more sets of wet to use.
So he'd probably have to split.
18 laps to... That's tricky. The tyres are going to be dead at the end.
Also, Neratosti getting a good line into turns 12, 13. Oh, and then gets a bit too close to the curve, bit too greedy, and very nearly spins the car into 13 itself. Then 14, 15, the chicane, and Toasty trying to close onto the back of the Living Dead 69, who's in the lead at the moment and doing a great job here, really doing well. Now, meantime, Jushep saying, great commentary, thank you very much. As Mr. Deeds gets involved and says he thinks the chicane's been cut a lot. Well, the chicane has been one of the things that's been messing around. Track limits has been one of the things that's not really worked here, and it is definitely going to be investigated after the race. Obviously, we don't want to say too much live in case we get the comments wrong. So the footage will be reviewed eagle-eyed, and we'll be able to take things more out as the rain's definitely stopped. The clouds have gone, and the puddles are getting smaller. Another 3 or 4 laps and we might well see the intermediates come into play, and some of the guys in the mid-order, like the Awesome Panda, like Psychic Taco, they might be able to steal the march if they sneak in the pits early and just about call it right. Ian Unstoppable, he's now on the intermediate tyres, so the Williams team, Rusty Nuts is on the wet, so it's actually Ian Unstoppable.
Rusty was on the end2, so he's gone back onto the wet.
That's interesting. So we've got a switch in the car strategy from Williams. Both guys going from the opposite direction here. As Living Dead 69's got, and yes, you can actually see it's visibly getting drier in Sector 3. There are still puddles, but the spray is a lot smaller and it's a lot shallower. I think we're going to see the intermediate tyres in the next 3 laps.
You're just asking why isn't the stream on?
The stream is on.
It is on.
We're on channel 1, unless you look at the channel 2. I don't know why. I've got loads of people commenting, so I assume that we're still live. Brutal Reapers echoes your opinion, thinking it's too late for another Saturday wet. It is indeed, and unless someone's going to try and go for the stopgap of missing out the inters, I mean, could someone like Stewart do that when they're on the wet tyres, maybe?
I don't know. I've never stayed on wets on a near dry track.
Oh, Jamie's gone off the track at turn. Oh, then left back on. Not now. Don't start doing this like now. Do not do that.
Sorry, no, for Jamie.
Boyd 19 says alive and kicking here. Yeah, I agree with you completely. That's what I thought. I've got 15 of you showing so far on my software, and I don't even think that's right. It's probably more or less. It's never correct, that number. XRL Fozzie in P6, meanwhile, he's quietly done a good job here. Got himself back into position, and so has Psychic Taco. Because both of you, look at that, you actually see the drying line at turn 5. You're actually seeing the racing line return. So it's definitely getting to the right conditions here. And I'm surprised that the likes of Awesome Panda, I thought it might be worth a gamble.
But there is an issue with some drivers like Bernie, Jamie. Their wet tyres are near the end of their life, so they will have to pit soon. But for what tyre?
Well, you're expecting some of the intermediates here because with the rain stopping.
There's still far too much standing water near the racing line.
Nira Toasty is in the pits. Now that's very interesting. Nira Toasty's in now and has gone for a set of the intermediate tyres. So the first of the front runners switches to the supposedly faster tyre. Are the conditions correct? And also, is he going to come out in 6th place? It's going to be mightily close here between himself and also between XRL Fozzie, but he's just about held the position. So this is where we'll see the best between these cars, because we'll see which tyres work out here. New intermediates or old wets. Game on.
Chambers is in the pits as well. And also from Panda.
XRL Fozzie, meanwhile, he could be the one to lose out quite badly here, because if this tyre is the right one to be on, he's got 2 sectors to do on the wrong tyre, and that could equate to seconds easily. I mean, look at the gap already that Toasty's pulled out in.
Yeah, it's 10 percentage.
If only we had like in race betting here. It would be interesting to see what people are gambling on with most of all these kind of things. XRL Stewart, meanwhile, has actually been passed by XRL Bernie. Yes, XRL Bernie has somehow got past him.
Stewart pitted a few laps ago and Bernie got ahead.
Well, Bernie's going to have to pit again, whereas Stewart might be able to make these. In fact, Bernie's going into the box now. Bernie's decided he's going to get in quickly. Stewart has stayed out.
He's still on those wets. It's fresh, it's still fresh, but I think Interest is the right tyres to be on there.
Well, that's got the conditions to be with less shallower water and everything else.
The skies are getting clearer now, so the track's going to dry up quicker now.
Exactly, with the track drying out, I mean, the puddles are getting smaller and smaller, and crucially, they're getting more and more offline. Look for turn 3. On the right hand side of the track, there's puddles. On the left, into the sweeping part of turn 4, there is no puddles. So it's definitely the right time now because of that. There's no puddles on the line.
If you stay on the racing line, then you've got no problem. Tackles, pitted for Enters.
Well, being asked by Mr. Deeds, has Nira Toasty got a penalty for crossing the pit line near the pits because he's very close to crossing it? To be honest, we don't like to say if anyone's got a penalty unless the game says they got one.
Well, it did look close, but the thing is, with reduced rules, you do not get a penalty if you cross the white line at pit exit.
Yeah, but you do on our own rules. Oh, meanwhile, he's got all 4 tyres on the inside of the McLaren, and that was turn 9. That looked like a really dangerous move there, and I think Toasty may have done yet another potential illegal overtake that will have to be reviewed after the race. On XRL Stewart at turn 9, and XRL Stewart's just gone through the chicane. He's got no grip. Oh, but Living Dead 69's going into the box, and Stewart's followed him. I think the McLarens might have double stacked.
I think Stewart might get away with it. Let's have a look.
Oh, it was Jamie in the Mercedes. It wasn't Living Dead, it was Jamie. The silver cars.
Living Dead has pitted, and he's lost the lead to Toasty.
Now, meanwhile, XRL Stewart's now down to P5. As we got XRL Bernie to go out ahead of Jamie. XRL Bernie has got the Toro Rosso back up potentially onto the podium. And meanwhile, behind these guys, I've got a bit of a scrap here because I believe that's XRL Stewart who's come out just ahead of one of the Williams. Is that Ian Unstoppable? No, Ian Unstoppable has been lapped. It's XRL Fozzie is 6th. Meanwhile, OMG is saying that Toasty's taking no prisoners tonight. Well, just because he's taking no prisoners doesn't mean he's doing the right thing. It will have to be reviewed. But XRL Bernie goes up the track at turn 5. Jamie 2503 has got a massive run on him now. Into turn 6 and 7. Both drivers going to the inside there. And Bernie has very, very poor traction. Into turn 8 and Jamie barges in past there. Oh, I'm not really sure that's a very fair move. That's going to have to be looked at as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's legal, to be honest, but yeah, if we've got the footage, we'll look at.
But so we don't like making snap decisions. If you make a snap decision, it's not fair on the drivers. You have to get everyone's side of the story. But XRL Bernie has lost out as a result of that, down to P4 and going over the inside of the corners. I don't know if it's because of the wet conditions, but everyone seems to really struggle keeping it in the white lines at the moment. And look at how bright it is on the pitch straight now. Look how sunny it is. Are we going to see anyone get the option tyres on, do you reckon?
It's possible.
But the XRL Stewart blast past Bernie down into the first corner. Oh, the big mistake for Jamie. He's gone off the track and Bernie is back through. It's not lag.
On my screen, he's third. I think he's going to lag back into place for you.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, he's third and running fine, normal speed. He's not a ghost car. On my screen, it was just a wee lag back into place.
XRL Bernie in 5th place, looking at the back of XRL Stewart in the McLaren, and that line is definitely getting drier. I think if you're someone in the middle of the pack, like Awesome Panda, a couple more laps, worth the gamble. Get on the option tyres, you've got very little to lose. As XRL Stewart now is really close up to the back of Jamie. Jamie's really lost time here.
That dry line is getting more visible every lap.
That's what I'm saying. 2 or 3 laps, if you're in the middle pack, someone like the Awesome Panda, someone like Psychic Taco, someone like Ian Unstoppable, why not go for it? You may well get yourself a podium out of it if you find yourself going 6-7 seconds a lap faster. Big mistake! Stewart has just clattered Jamie in the final corner. Looked like his rear tyre caught the cycle glitch.
I think that was lag again. I didn't see a sidepod glitch.
No, you're right, because now he's in 3rd place. How are you supposed to commentate on this? How are you supposed to do your job? I will collect footage of that McLaren spinning that Mercedes out.
That didn't happen on my screen. I think that was down to lag.
This is very frustrating. Meanwhile, XRL Fozzie is going to be blasted past here as Psychic Taco gets the inside line at turn 4. But Fozzie feels like going on the karting line to try and get the extra grip, but it's not enough. And Taco goes through to take 6th place. Great recovery drive from Psychic Taco. The American really doing a good job here. Awesome Panda's also catching the pair of these 2 up in P8. So these 3 guys all very close together. If you're one of these guys, let's say like your Awesome Panda, if you go for the undercut early and the tyres work, you can lead the pair up.
I think that middle sector, I think it's today too wet, especially turns 6 and 7.
Meanwhile, moving back through.
A couple more laps.
Nero Toast is now in the lead. I don't know where that happened, but Living 69 is down to P2. Nero Toasting is in the lead for now, but it's a question of how long he stays there. He's going wide at turn 4. Living 69 is getting the better line into turn 5, but Nero Toast is just too far ahead. LNG Killers, meanwhile, says the Codemasters need to fix all this lag for next game or bring out an update very soon for this one. Killers, they're not going to update this game. They're not going to touch this game anymore. This game is out of date as far as Codemasters are concerned.
Yeah, they're still focused on Grid Autosport and F1 2014. We're still waiting news on F1 2014, whether it's going to be out on new gen or a release date. It's getting really annoying.
It's surprising that they've not brought any news out whatsoever, but then again, the news for 2012 was very late. 2012 was a game that got announced at a very late period, actually, so maybe the same thing's going to happen.
Did you see like Codemasters staff Twitter pages like Steve Hood or the Formula 1 game Twitter? They're all constantly saying, can't say anything about F1 2014, can't say anything about F1 2014, can't reveal something. Just reveal something, for God's sake.
Well, that's just, maybe they've not even got the contract.
Oh, I think they have the license for 1 more year.
I don't know what the deal was, but either way, needless to say, Codemasters games have been very divisive in their opinion, haven't they? They've really split opinion right down the middle.
Oh, Fozzie's in.
Well, as I say, might as well try and keep the position. XRL Bernie in P5, still clinging on, and Psychic Taco in 6th place now. Looks at about Awesome Panda in 7th, and as you've just called, Tom Chambers is in 8th. So XRL Fozzie comes out and he's on the option tyres. He's decided it's time to go for it. Well, there's only 8 laps left, so, you know, there's a chance here. And the first sector's definitely dry enough, but as you said, sector 2 is where it's all going to count. He's gone wide at one. He's done a Johnson button at Melbourne in 2010.
Yeah, the issue, the pit lane, pit exit, usually onto water. You just slowed down, change your brake bias. No, it's not ready. That's not ready for slicks. There's someone else in the pits. I think it's Nero Toasty.
It is indeed Nero Toasty. Well, this could be a disaster for his race then, if the tyres aren't ready. But then again, 6 laps to go after this. Will someone like Living Dead try and make the inters last to the end? And will these options come into play with the final 3 laps to go?
Sure, it's in. I think everyone's coming in.
Nero Toasty's going to turn 1 fine. Nero Toasty's had absolutely no problem through turns 1 and 2. He's come out in 2nd place. He's actually come out ahead of Jamie, who's on the intermediate tyres. Jamie could be a huge loser here.
He's gone offline.
Yeah, but he's still in 2nd place. He's still in 2nd place, and Jamie's right behind him now. So Jamie has got more confidence and more track available to him. But at the same time, Nero's got more raw ultimate pace. It's one of those. Jamie, meanwhile, is going to be right on the back of Nero Toasty going into the corner at turn 8. Oh, Jamie goes totally off the track and has DRS on the intermediate tyres.
Because people are on slicks now, DRS is enabled.
What stupid rules. So in the meantime, Jamie 2503.
English.
And now Jamie 2503 has lost out big time in sector 3 to Nero Toasty. Nero has got horrible lag as well. He's going all over the place. And he's gone into the box.
Leaders in the pits, will they get in front of Toasty? He'll struggle for the first sector once his time.
Nero Toasty's not going to get ahead of Living Dead. Living Dead is going to be ahead for now. But then again, the tyres of Nero Toasty's car are warmed up. Living Dead's are not.
Schumacher Physical in China 2006. Schumacher's miles backwards. Managed to get past because Physical's tyres were cold.
Exactly, it's so easy to do if you get the tyres in the wrong position. Heading into turn 5 there, and Nero Toasty has got better pace, but actually Living Dead 69 has just done enough to stay ahead. Living Dead might well have called this magnificently here. Meanwhile, according to Mr. Deeds, F1 2010, 2011, 2012 all released in September, while 2013 was October. So he reckons that 14 will be October, November time, right at the end of the season. And also during June, they usually bring out a trailer. But there's not been any updates at all. That's the thing. Whether trailers or not, they normally announce at least something. You normally get someone like David Croft saying, I was down in Birmingham reading out the following things today. You know, all that kind of stuff.
I think Comas is just going to rush it again. Got this feeling that the game's going to be broken.
Jamie 2503 on the option tyres has got XRL Stewart behind him in P4, but Jamie's lagging a bit as well. It's the last move we won here. Jamie, of course, had the temerity last week to call my connection crap during the F1 stream, so the irony is not lost on me. DRS available to XRL Stewart. Oh, gets close to a wet patch, manages to avoid it. The DRS is closing him up to Jamie, but he's just not close enough to make a move this lap.
Top 2 are very close now.
XRL Stewart, meanwhile, trying to get close to the back of Jamie 2503 to take that final podium position from McLaren. Heading into turn 5, he's got decent pace here, but Jamie's just doing enough to hang on for now, as the track has pretty much dried out, and Nero Toasty has closed a little bit on Living Dead 69, but not really enough to put him on the fret at the moment. All 4 corners again from Nero Toasty there. And again at the chicane, this is not good driving here. Got to be careful about track limits or you will get penalties under the new rules. DRS wide open from Nero Toasty, and that gap is shrinking, but they've hit the rev limiter too early, and that's compromised Nero Toasty into turn 1, not closed the gap enough. And as a result of that, Living Dead 69 hangs on for now. But we're into the final 4 laps, and Nero Toasty has a great opportunity here to be able to take this position and take this victory.
Stuart has just leads past Jamie 2003 for the final podium spot.
Fantastic driving for Stuart, so I've got him back into the podium for now. As Nero Toasty's all over
Jamie,
the back.
He went into the gravel at turn 2. Almost spun the car.
Well, you got to be careful of the gravel there. That corner can swallow you up so easily. Into turn 8, Nero Toasty, DRS spot wide open down towards turn 9. Living Dead 69 sees him coming, goes to the inside. Nero Toasty tries to drive around the outside, clips the outsider. As he goes round with Nero Toasty, drives round the outside and takes the position. As a result of that, Living Dead 69 will be looking to DRS down towards turn 1. This is going to be very tricky. Meanwhile, very rough driving from Toasty tonight is the comment from LMG Killers. Reckons the driving's been a bit too aggressive and rusty from Nero Toasty. Oh, Toasty's gone off the track. Big mistake there. And the final corner goes on the AstroTurf. Living Dead 69's close right up to him as a result of that. In the DRS slot, and Nero Toasty's moved more than one time. He's got to be careful that he isn't guilty of being caught multiple weaving. He's really on the cusp here of possibly getting quite a few penalties. Nero Toasty obviously feeling the pressure, leading the front of the Grand Prix. Heading into turn 4, Living Dead 69 thinks about going around the outside as Nero Toasty gets forced wide a little bit, so Living Dead 69 with a more natural line. Into turn 5, Living Dead's just done enough to hang on for now. Into 6 and 7, Living Dead 69 closing close to the back of Nero Toasty. He's got the DRS down towards turn 9, but goes nowhere near the apex there. Living Dead 69 really didn't trouble that corner at all. That'll cost him a few tenths. Heading into turn 9, not close enough to make a move. So Living Dead 69 sits back for now and waits for his opportunity. It's turn 13, Living Dead 69 looking at the back of Nero Toasty, and Toasty is getting a little more ragged on the car, evidently feeling the pressure here. Living Dead 69, good pressure so far. DRS will be available. Kers has already been deployed as we start lap 64, and Nero Toasty immediately defends to the inside, then goes back to the middle. That's over 2 moves. Then he's moved again, that's possibly even 3 moves. Nero Toasty's being really too aggressive here, and he's going to be looking down the barrel of a penalty if he's not careful. Going on to the inside, turn 4, Living Dead 69 thinking about going around the outside. Nero Toasty kind of has the neutral line there. Living Dead 69 gives it up, knowing he'll run out of room on the outside. Into turn 5, Living Dead 69 on the back of Toasty, who's driving in the Toro Rosso, and he goes outside the white line, as does Living Dead 69. And going into turn 6, oh, Toasty moved right and then got all 4 tyres off on the inside of 6. Nero Toasty, I don't know if this is lag or if he's really feeling the pressure here and not wanting to give up the position.
It's not lag, definitely not.
Living Dead 69 goes to the outside onto the marbles. Has he got the grip? No, he's just not doing enough. And Living Dead 69 may have watched Nero go over the inside there. When Nero Toasty got wide at turn 12, that'll give Living Dead 69 better wide to 13, but he's just not close enough to take advantage. The marbles on the outside tyre slowing him down sufficiently. Living Dead 69 running out of laps here as we go to start lap 65. Kers will be used and DRS will be available. And look at how much he's close to the back of Toasty. This is Living Dead's best chance. Nero Toasty stays on the outside. Living Dead 69's got to make his move. He's got to make his scene. And strangely, Living Dead 69 didn't make a move there. I'd have thought he'd stuck up the inside and gone for the late braking.
Use your curves here. Toasty's used all his curves to defend on the pit straight.
Great chance here for Living Dead 69. He's not using his curves at all. Going into turn 4, and Nero Toasty has gone wide. Is Living Dead 69 about the Cameron line? No, he's not. We're running out of laps. There's only 1.5 laps to go between the leaders. As Nero Toasty goes wide, he's going to go off the track at 5. That's going to give Living Dead 69 a great chance. You're shouting, he can't hear you. He's not got the stream on. Going into turn 6 and 7, Living Dead 69 gets tapped a little bit by Toasty here, and he has to give it up. As Toasty goes over turn 8, DRS available, Living Dead 69 deploys a little curse. Heading out towards turn 9, he's going to try and go the outside route again. Nero Toasty goes off 4 tyres off the inside once more. He's got this is dangerous, and over the inside of 10. That's 2 corners in a row there.
We don't need to look at the stream and marked in every time.
Oh, but then Living Dead 69 has caught 13. and 14, and 15.
Is there a penalty like for if you like? I can't remember.
Well, that's why we're doing our stewards meeting tomorrow night. We're not doing it tonight, but we're too late. But DRS is available at Limit 69. He goes to the middle of the track behind Niratosti, but he's just not close enough as we're on the final lap here in Catalonia. Limit 69 is going to make this stick now. Niratosti's there for the taking. If Limit 69 can get his move in the right position, he's saved his course. He's going to have one chance now to turn 9, possibly. Going into turn 4 as Niratosti goes wide on the outside. Oh, Limit 69 nearly spins the tyres on nil and drops the car into turn 4. Going into turn 5, Limit 69 is closer than he's ever been. Niratosti's like a touring car racer, Brands Hatch. Into turn 6, Niratosti chops like a cross in there. Limit 69 has to get out of the move before turn 6 and 7. Into turn 8. Go on, sorry. DRS that curves the point. Limit 69 thinks about a move. Is he going to try and shot back? He's made the mistake. He's forced Niratosti into the mistake. Niratosti is cracked under the pressure. It's Brent Jensen Button and Sebastian Vettel at Montreal. A critical error from Niratosti. He drops the position, makes the mistake. Limit 69 goes through into first place. All he's going to do now is hope that we've not got any penalties that are going to change the result. But for now, Limit 69 rounds the final corner to take the checkered flag, and Niratosti takes second place provisionally. XRL Stewart, meanwhile.
Jamie's just got past Birdie at the hairpin at the end of sector 2.
Jamie 2003 in 4th position, and XRL Birdie in 5th, being chased quickly by one of the Williams. Is that a lap car? No, Nisaki Tako made a mistake, so it's not a car. XRL Birdie's not giving up. A little bit of ghost there from turn 15, and Birdie has got a chance. He went translucent, drove through him. Oh, what's going on here? Who's ahead?
Oh, it's Ghost. Bernie was a ghost on my screen.
He was on mine as well, and I just think that Jamie held it. Just about. And now I've got the black screen of death, which tells me that's pretty much the end. Wow. So XRL Fozzie, meanwhile, has ended up going all the way down as a result of this. Lost out big time. Ian Unstoppable P10 at the end, and Fozzie's already lost connection in P9. Well, let's get these guys in for the podium. Well, very, very crazy there. Limit 69 forcing that error and the critical move to get done at the very, very last opportunity. Definitely proof that if you get the position in the right position, you can force the mistake from your driver without actually forcing them off the track. Masterful psychology. So we're just waiting for all 3 drivers to join us here on the podium, and we'll give you a thing. Obviously, all results are provisional until the stewards' report is completed. So we'll start with you then, the Living Dead. It seemed that all through the race you had the pace to be out front, but you seem to have strategies on your tyres which got you at totally different areas, and you had to do it the hard way. And in those final laps, it got very, very close at points, but then you managed to get that crucial final move into turn 9 to be able to take the checkered flag. How was it out there for you today? Oh, I asked him that and he leaves the podium. No, I guess that's his comment. Well, while we try and get Living Dead back in then, meantime, let's go to you, Nira. A race where there was a lot of battles and a lot of crazy stuff going on there, but you still managed to hold on for a second place. How was the track for you?
Wow. that last battle there, that was crazy. I mean, I've never had such a good battle there between me and Living. Obviously, the wet played a huge part there, and I was on the wets a little bit too early, which compromised Living Dead taking me, and then I just had to try and make up time. And then the pit stops, he got ahead, so I really had to push, and at the end then, that was just the biggest scratch for the lead I've ever had.
Well, Living Dead, we'll go back to you then, because unfortunately you ended up losing connection when I asked you the question. Obviously, I said you had your pace traditionally to be in the lead, but your tyre strategy seemed to put you in different areas to everybody else. But then that final lap, crucial move, you managed to force the error. How was it out there for you today?
Yeah, it was alright actually. Like, the fact it was changing weather made the race a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I decided to take the gamble to go for the second wet stint, and the track took a while to dry up. So I managed to take the advantage of that, and also having a great outlap on the intermediates before changing to the softs. But that last battle was quality, like, hats off to Toasty.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your comments. In the meantime, Stuart, we'll go to you. It looked at times like you might actually be facing being off the podium with the likes of Jamie 2003 and XRL Bernie supplanting you, but you seem to just about have the pace when it mattered. And you also found yourself anywhere from P1 to P7. Was that a bit of a strange race for you today?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I got through the field well in the first stint from, I think I was starting about 9th due to the random grid, and I believe I was challenging for the win for a long time. I was close to 11 dead, but once the rain came, I got the strategy completely wrong, and in the end though, I'm very happy to get a podium, as I outscored Fozzie and Taco as well, so that puts me top of the championship, so I'm very happy.
Well, fantastic. Congratulations to all three of you. Also, congratulations to all of you out there who watched. It was a train wreck tonight. We didn't even get started for nearly 3/4 of an hour after we were supposed to. And you're all still here at the end. Tomorrow night is the GP2 F4000 doubleheader. One of those at least will be streamed live. I don't know if both of them will be. Keep your eyes on channels 1 and 2. And then on the Wednesday evening, it's the F5000 and the T6 doubleheader. I believe both of those will be brought to you by Bernie and F1 Speed. And then on Saturday night at Imola, you've got the XRL Classics. Before Sunday evening, you'll have XRL Bernie in the box covering the F1 division. I will not be there, unfortunately, but I will be back for GP2 next week, providing I don't retire. More news on that in the middle of the week. But in the meantime, coverage brought to you tonight by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk. Thanks all very much for watching, and good night.